recommended that before you would approve this deal, you wanted an amendment of the deal.
Okay.
That was what
now,
I was
let's
asking
go
about.
back into this one
Yeah.
now. We're now talking about the MOA
Yeah, the
that
MOA.
was executed,
You
where
wanted an
the
amendment.
production of the MRPs was going to be transferred from the BSP
Yeah.
to APO UGEC. Okay. My objection was that APO delegated or subcontracted the contract to UGEC. And I said, well, the question of whether or not you've done something illegal is another issue. But my concern now is I cannot cancel this contract because if I did, there would be a bigger problem that would result, which is the, what do you call this, the interruption of a vital service to the public. And that is the issuance of the passport, the renewal of the passport. Who will be handling it? So I said, why don't we come up with a deal? I'm going to agree to the temporary implementation in full of the contract that you signed on these two conditions. One, do not charge the public 920 pesos per passport. Because if you did that, I have here all the records that show that the cost in doing this, the same MRPs, is not much.
How much?
Your cost is something like only 350. And the contract that we had with the Bangko Sentral for the same MREPs was for only 550. So I suggest, let's meet halfway. You charge the public at 650. And then the other thing is 6 months from now, or not later than November 12, you amend the objectionable provisions in the MOA that does not hold UGEC accountable. And they all agreed. I have an agreement that was signed by no less than the Secretary of PCO for and on behalf of APO, and no less signed by the Chairman and CEO of UGEC. They agreed to terms. On that basis, I approved the full implementation on that provisional basis.
So until now, that agreement still holds.
And then, before November 12, I called the parties and I said, oh, what are now the corrections that you've made? They said they were not going to make any. They refused. And I said, you are reneging on this thing. And then he said, we don't want to. And I said,
But you signed an agreement.
yes.
Yes.
They signed an agreement, but they refused to be bound by it. What is even worse, as I found out later, and I was still there, was that the administration department gave APO UGEC the full amount of 920 pesos.
But your agreement
the-
was 600.
The
How much?
agreement was 600.
600 only.
Yeah. And they did not agree to what I did because they said that that was a breach of a contract.